Ron Scott here. Boy, 2014 sure went by fast, but I had a lot of fun. So come along with me as I share some of those good times. There's no better way to kick off the new year than with a brunch at Brennan's with a bunch of friends. And speaking of brunch, I threw another one of my bacon and bubbly brunch affairs the next month. In March, the Divino Regulars dinner was a big hit with great food and wine with good friends. There was more food and friends at Amber's backyard birthday party, where Rico Loper boiled up some of his yummy shrimp and we enjoyed a few adult beverages. I celebrated my birthday for the 4th year in a row with a trip down to New Orleans. This year I rented an apartment in the French Quarter for 10 days and enjoyed the food, drinks, sights, and sounds of the Big Easy. The highlight of the trip was the Stella and Stanley Shouting Contest that is part of the Tennessee Williams Festival. On a sadder note, several local photographers gathered for a dinner and remembrances with Ann Rippey, whose husband and former Houston photographer Don Klump passed away in 2013. Easter Sunday found several of us down at French restaurant Au Petit Paris for brunch, and afterwards we enjoyed some sun and bubbly at my pool. Rico and Linda Loper hosted their annual crawfish boil on the first weekend in May, and friends gathered from near and far to pinch tails and suck heads.
Wait all year long for these, and it's worth it. Rico does it up right.
We even had a swim party on the Sunday after the boil. Later in May, my good friend Sarah Jo graduated from law school and celebrated with a party at the West Alabama Ice House. The first of my summer pool parties kicked off a Memorial Day weekend, followed by parties marking the 4th of July, the dog days of summer, and Labor Day. In July, I was off for an extended stay at my brother's summer home in the Les Cheneaux Islands at the northern tip of Lake Huron. I enjoyed several parties and aquatic adventures with family and friends. The climax of the trip was the annual Antique Wooden Boat Show in Hessel Harbor. I threw another one of my bacon and bubbly brunches in late September, where it was still warm enough for some pool time. Unlike this Ice House regular, the one thing I avoided this year was participating in this idiotic viral meme. My enjoyment of all things wine was amplified at several wine tasting events at Divino, one of my favorite restaurants here in Houston. Local artist Carlos Hernandez hosted another annual Day of the Dead Rock Stars event at Cactus Records, featuring his work along with custom printed t-shirts. The big event of the fall was the 14th annual Montrose Beer and Gun Club Charity Cook-Off, which featured over 30 cooking teams, all vying for prizes and helping to raise money for kids with cancer. Fall also meant another trip down to the Big Easy for a weekend of food, fun, and photos. With Christmas just around the corner, I hosted my 7th annual Wine and Cheese Party that featured a selection of fine cheeses and wine shared with good friends. Christmas is definitely party time, and I enjoyed a great one at the country home of Dee Dee and Richard Hunter, where they served up some mighty fine gumbo and homegrown music. And finally, I spent Christmas Day, again out in the country, with friends at Eric and Bernadette's Ranchienda, where we had deep-fried turkey and bubbly for Christmas dinner. I'm Ron Scott, and if you enjoyed this, please like and share, and may you all have a very happy and prosperous new year.